Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you how you can start to learn to code using a text-based language called Python. Now, Python's a really commonly used programming language. Now, when I say programming language, that just means that it's the language that the computer understands your commands in, okay? So within each language, there's particular syntax that we use to tell the computer what we want it to do. So similar to if we were comparing, say, our spoken language of English compared to a spoken language of French, if I go to France and I say, hello, how are you? They don't quite understand what I'm saying. Or if I said, can I please have a cup of coffee? Again, they might not know what I'm trying to say, and so they wouldn't be able to give me what I'm asking for. Whereas if I'm in Australia or any other English-speaking country, I could go up to a cafe and I could say, "Can I please have a cup of coffee?" They would understand that syntax. They'd understand the words that I'm using, which is syntax. Okay, and then they would be able to give me what I'm asking for. Okay, so computers work in the same way. We can use different languages to tell computers what to do. We just need to tell the computer which language we're using. Now, Python's a really common one, as I said. The reason that it's common is because it's relatively easy to understand the syntax, okay, and it works really well. It's a little bit flexible in terms of like if you make a small error or something, it will still run a program, okay, whereas some other programming languages aren't as forgiving if you do make small mistakes in your code. Now, I'm just at our Digitech homepage, okay? This is our homepage here, and then I just clicked over to Python to get to this page here. Now, on this page, you're going to see a couple of things. There's just a little bit of an example of some code, okay? So this is the code here, and this is, so that we call that the input, and then this is the output, okay? Now, what we see on our computer screens is we see output, okay? So on here, on this page here, we're seeing the output from what the browser is reading from the website server, okay? So basically what the web browser is doing for us, in this case Google Chrome, what Google Chrome is doing for us, it's reading the code that is used to create the website that we're looking at, and it's printing for us what the code is telling it to do. Okay, so this is input. Now, normally when we're operating on a computer, we don't see the input. Okay, we don't see that stuff that happens in the background, and we just see the output. Okay, so this output is what we would see on the screen. Okay, now what we need to do in order to practice using Python, so to practice coding, we need something called a compiler. Okay, now a compiler just means that it will run code for you, so it will follow that code, and then it will print out what we would see on the console, which is on our computer screen. Okay, if you hear that term console, it just means computer screen. Okay, so right here, what we can see, I've already typed this code into the compiler, and it's given us that output. Okay, so that's on the console or on the screen that is running the code. Okay, now on our Python page of our website, there's two options. You've got this online compiler. So if you've got an iPad or you just can't be bothered downloading a program, that works okay. That works fine. Okay. The recommendation is that if I were you, I'd be downloading, if you've got a computer, you've got the means, download this program called PyCharm, which is a Python compiler. It just allows you to save your work and all that sort of stuff, as opposed to just working online. Now, there's a couple of different programs you need to do, okay, as part of this course, and then there's some extra work that you can do if you really want to learn more about Python. Okay, there's a link to Codecademy where you can learn more about Python. Okay, or there's also, if you want to do some extension work, there's this PDF file. I went and did a Python workshop at the Gordon maybe a year or two ago, and this is what we worked through. Okay, it sort of steps you through and helps you to learn more about Python and coding with a text-based language. So when we use Scratch and when we use like Sphero program or a lot of the stuff on code.org, we're using what we call block coding. So we're sort of just dragging blocks in, and then the computer runs the code using those blocks. Okay, text-based language works in the same way, but we just have to type each of the commands that we want the computer to undertake. So the first program you need to do is the first program that most people do when they're learning to code, which is to write a program that will print hello world on the console. Okay, so what we want is we want the compiler to run the program, which will be the hello world program. We want it just to print hello world. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to open the Python compiler. Now what I want to do is I just want to delete all this stuff that's already there. Okay, so I've got a blank screen, I'm ready to code. Okay, now in Python, if we want something to show up on the console or on the screen, we use the command print. Okay, now in brackets, I'm going to write what I want it to print. Okay, now I just want it to print the words hello world. Okay, now when we have a word that we want it to print, that's called a string. Okay, now to get the compiler to print your hello world, like those two words, we'll use inverted commas and we type hello world. Okay, then I close the inverted commas, I close the brackets, and now if I choose run up here, down the bottom here where we can see the console, okay, we can see that it's printed out hello world for us. Okay, I could change that if I wanted to. I could say print my name, Jason. Okay, and then I click run. There we go, we can see it prints Jason. So it prints whatever we type within the inverted commas. Okay, so if you've done that, so if you can go ahead and just do this and type in hello world. Oops, keep making spelling mistakes. And you click run. Okay, that's it. You've done your hello world program. Okay, so now it's just a matter of cutting. Okay, I'm just using snipping tool. Just want you to take a screenshot of that work that you've done. I want you to save that. Let's just call it, I'm just going to put it on my desktop. I'm going to call it hello world. Okay, save that image. Okay, and then what I want you to do is I want you to go to your Weebly page. Okay, so I'm just going to pause the video. I'm just going to jump over to my Weebly page now. Okay, so I've signed into my Weebly page here. Okay, my student Weebly page. And I'm going to click on tasks because that's where we want to put our tasks. Okay, you can see I've got a couple of things there already. There are my tasks. And we want to drop an image in there. Okay, so we click on image, we drag it over, and then we can put the image that we saved earlier. So what was it called? Hello world. That one there. And there we can see I've saved that. Oh, sorry, I've uploaded that image onto my Weebly page. Okay, so that's it there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do our next Python program. Okay, which is I want you to write a program that enters my name and address. I've made up an address, but we want to make it so that it's on separate lines. Okay, so I'm going to show you one way of doing that. There are a couple of ways, but I'm just going to show you what I think is the easiest way. So we've used that command print. Okay, and then I'm going to write my name, Jason Doffe, and then I'm going to use inverted commas. I'm going to put a bracket there. I'm just going to check that works. So I'm going to run it. Excellent. Okay. Now on my next line, I'm going to write print again. Use that command print. Okay. And then I'm going to put it's just my made up address. You guys might remember that address from Finding Nemo if you've seen it. My daughter is pretty young. She's only 2, so we have to watch Finding Nemo quite a bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check my code by running it. Good, it's done those first 2 bits. Now I'm going to write the last line of code, which is print, and I'm going to write in there Sydney I can't remember. I think it's 2000. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, now let's run that. Does it run? Oh, perfect. All right, so it's done. It's run it exactly how I wanted it to. All right, so now again, we're just going to find the snipping tool. I'm going to create a new snip. All right, screenshot of that. I'm going to save that. Oops. And I'm going to save it on my desktop. I'm going to call it name and address. Then I'm going to click save. And I'm going to close that. I'm going to go to my Weebly page. I'm going to drag an image next to that one. And I'm going to upload a photo from my computer, which was name and address, which is there. Okay, so I've got my two programs there. Now the last program you need to write is a program where it will find rectangle facts. Okay, so you want a program that calculates the perimeter of an area of a rectangle when the length and width are known. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that in a different video. Okay, so once you've done each of those and you've got that saved as images on your Weebly page, make sure you hit publish so that I can see those. I can see those images, and then I want you to go ahead and I want you to watch the next video where I'm going to talk about how to create a program that will find rectangle facts for you. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.